Have you ever wanted to write your own novel or dreamed about publishing a great story and telling a great story and writing your own, but just thought, my goodness, it's too difficult. How can an ordinary person like me write a novel? Well, you can, and I'm going to give you 10 points of how to write a novel. Of course, if you're a native Japanese speaker, probably you'd better write it in Japanese. Writing a whole novel in English, well, that would be an extra challenge, but not impossible. I'm going to give you 10 points anyway on how to write a novel. This chap here is supposed to be Charles Dickens, a famous English writer, but AI doesn't really know what he looks like. I don't think he looked like that. And why is he writing with a feather in his book? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. He's got 6 fingers as well. Okay, don't look too closely. But I'm going to give you 10 points on how to write a novel. And you may ask, well, how do you know? You're just an English teacher. Yes, I am just an English teacher. But I wrote my own novel too. This is my own novel. Oh, disappeared. Here I am. It's difficult to show you with that background. Half-Life. Oh, come back. Half-Life. That's my novel. It's a real novel, you see, published by me on Amazon. Anyway, but I'm not here to promote my novel. If you're interested in it, it's it's, there's a link to it in the back of the book. But anyway, just to show you that, just to show that I do know a little bit of what I'm talking about, or I was able to write a novel following these 10 points. So let's jump in, shall we? And I'll try and explain as we go along. Okay. Number one, collect your thoughts. Keep notes on ideas for stories, characters, and dialogue every day. Before you even start writing a novel, you need to have lots of ideas. So maybe spend, I don't know how long, weeks, months, years, keeping notes of character ideas. Character, somebody in a novel, what would make an interesting character, an interesting dialogue. Dialogue, two people talking. Make lots of notes. Okay. Number two, write a 3-act plot outline. Most Western stories probably follow a sort of 3-act. There's 3 clear parts of almost every story. And those parts are, number one is the act one. You see the hero in their ordinary world and life is not great. Act two, they enter act two when they decide to take some action and they can't go back. And Act Two is the longest part of the novel, and that's one obstacle, one difficulty after another. And your hero or main character in the story has to overcome the various problems. Then they get into Act Three, which is the final confrontation, when you confront, you face the thing that is holding you back. If it's a mystery, you're fighting against the criminal. If it's a love story, you're fighting, not fighting, but you're finally confronting the person that you love, and you're going to tell the truth. Um, but it's most stories fit into that mold. If you think about it, if I could think of a story, you probably know Harry Potter. That's very much like that. At the beginning of the story, he's always under the stairs in his ordinary world. He enters the magical world of Hogwarts, the school. He overcomes obstacles, mythical creatures and wild animals and magical bad guys, and eventually goes into the third act in the final book and faces Voldemort. I think that's the ultimate bad guy. It really does follow a 3-act structure, so it's a good idea to follow that. Most people do. Then number three, good plots come from character flaws. A flaw is a fault or a problem. We love characters that have some kind of problem, like Harry Potter. He doesn't have any parents and he's trying to find his history. That's his flaw, and that's what pushes him through his adventures. Okay. Another tip is number four, write the last scene first. so that you have a target to go for. So have the most the biggest climax, the big reveal. Write that first before you start writing the rest of the book, and then you have that as something that you're going to write towards. So you have to make everything make sense to hit that powerful ending. What else? Number 5. Yeah, write an outline for each scene. A scene is one little part of action, usually in one location. It might, in a chapter, there might be 2 or 3 scenes, but it's one place where the characters are interacting and doing something. And probably you'll have about 40 scenes. Well, it doesn't have to be. In an 80,000 word novel. This one is 80,000 words. Okay. Number 7 is write the first draft as quickly as you can. Write. Don't stop and think about each word and is that the right way to say it? No, just write through boom, as fast as you can. Don't worry about spelling mistakes and everything. Just get through, get the story told. That's your first draft. And then number 8 is where you start editing. Editing meaning read from the beginning. And before you start fixing things, take notes of everything that you think is wrong or needs fixing. And then start with the big things and go to the little things. If there's a character that you don't like and you want to get rid of it. If there's a whole chapter that doesn't make sense, okay, cut that chapter, try and keep the story going. You do the big things first until you get down to the little things, which is fixing different words and stuff. If you start with the little things and fixing words and fixing sentences, you might find you're wasting your time and you're spinning your wheels, we say, doing too much work. Anyway, okay. Then the point 9 is where you might pay to have an editor to read through your manuscript. You've gone through it. You need to have somebody else look at it and see if you've not made any mistakes or you missed something, or what seems obvious to you might not be obvious to other people. If you don't have any money, get some friends or people who are willing to read through your work and tell you the truth. You don't want people to say, oh, yeah, it's great. You want people to say, yeah, I didn't understand this chapter. Well, why did that character do that? I didn't really get it, or it wasn't much fun. You want to hear that so that you can fix it. Then you fix all the problems that you possibly can. You look at it and you think, oh, this is a wonderful novel now. This is my manuscript ready to publish. Congratulations. Now the hard part begins, finding readers. That's beyond the scope of this lesson. But you really have two options. You can go the traditional way, which is finding an agent and getting it published. That's almost impossible. Or self-publishing, publishing it on Amazon or other companies. And that's possible. That's how I did mine. Hard work, but if it's your dream, you can do it. By the way, even if you have no interest in writing your own novel, I hope you can see from this, you get a feeling for how novels are written and how authors think about the stories. When you're reading a novel, think about, oh, what act is this in? What's the flaw of the main character? Okay, I'll stop talking. Time for you to get writing. Okay, thanks. See you next time.